Welcome to the Reimagine You Lab podcast. This is the space and place to learn, test, and try and say goodbye to doubt and delay. I am your host, Michelle Gines, the Reimagined Scientist, and today I am here with Areia Cobb, who is the author, speaker, educator right there in Dallas, Georgia. Welcome, Areia. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I am doing fantastic. And Areia, you know, here in the lab, we are all about and talking about dealing with change and all the different types of change. My life the last year has been nothing but change. So I am thankful that you have joined me today. And, you know, as we kind of get into the conversation, and I believe that change is just a choice. There's anytime we want to reimagine anything in our lives, we're just making a choice about it, right?
Right.
So one of the things that you have mentioned as I was asking about, hey, tell me, Areia, some of the change that you have dealt with over the course of your life. And one of the things that you mentioned was, Michelle, when I was 18, listen, I moved 800 miles away from home. And so I was like, what? So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me, what was that experience like? 800 miles away from mom and daddy. What was that life like?
Well, the funny thing is that I had three older sisters, an older brother, and one younger brother. But there's 15 years between me and my youngest brother. So I had been the baby forever. And there's 12 years, me and my older sister, you know, my older sister, Elonia, there's 12
Yeah.
years between the two of us and three siblings. But
Okay.
it was known that when she went to college, I would be the next one to go. Like the three in the
No doubt.
middle, we knew they were going to do their own thing and that I would be the next one to go to college. As the time grew closer, I had already made up my mind that I was going to Atlanta, Georgia for college.
Mhm.
And myself and my girlfriend, Tiff, we had devised a plan. We were going to be Clark girls. That's what we
Okay.
had decided. And the only two schools I applied to were Clark Atlanta and Morris Brown College, both in
Mhm.
Atlanta. Tiffany and
Mhm.
I had looked up schools that had interest in what we both were interested in. And those two schools fit the bill.
Okay.
Well, as you know, time was nearing, senior year was going on. I had received acceptance letters, but I received my acceptance from Clark Atlanta, and my father kept saying, "You haven't received anything from that school that Lonnie went to." Elonia went to MU, which was about
Uh-huh.
2 hours away from home, and I kept saying, "No, I didn't. I didn't get anything." But what he didn't know was that I never applied to MU because I knew that if I applied, I would likely get accepted and that he would try to force that on me. That's
Yes.
where he would try to lean on me to go. But I felt like it was my time, it was my decision, and that I needed to make what I felt was the best decision for me. But I
Yes.
knew that in doing that, I still had younger siblings at home. My father had remarried by this time, and she
Mhm.
had two kids that she had brought into the marriage. Plus, they now had my little brother. So I
Right.
knew that they had a full household to take care of. So this was a big decision that I was making. And again, a choice that I was choosing. And that if I was choosing to move 800 miles away, I was going to have to put my big girl pants on and figure out how to make this work.
Right.
And so, although it was a little scary, I felt better having Tiffany with me. And it definitely was not easy, but it forced me to grow up. And I knew that I had a point to prove. And I wanted to prove not to my family, it was for myself. I wanted to prove to me that I could do this, that
Yeah.
I could take care of me. I could stand on my 2 feet. I could go through and deal with whatever was thrown at me and I could make it work. And I think that what I learned more than anything was that although I had grown up in the church since I was a little kid, I felt like up to that point, my relationship with God had been like by association. I had a
Yeah.
relationship with God through my dad, but I really got to know him when I moved 800 miles away. It was like, it was time to lean on him for myself and really get to know him, and all these things that I had learned and had been saying, I had to
Mhm.
start experiencing them and walking in them for myself. And
Yeah.
it started like from the beginning.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think that's good. As a matter of fact, Aria, it's funny that you say that because I have a daughter who this year or last May or last August was her first year of college, and she, like you, knew that she wanted to be 800 miles away from home. Like she was like, she was looking at schools all the way in Hawaii. She was looking in Alaska. She had looked in Arizona. There was nothing. As a matter of fact, she had applied to, like, she did not apply for anything in Kansas City at all. Like, she didn't want to be nowhere even close to home. Like, all of the like students at her school were looking at, was like in the Kaufman program,
Mhm.
students, Mizzou, KU, K-State. None of
Yep.
those schools were like, all of that was completely irrelevant. The A plus program, nothing. She was like, no, mom, I have no interest whatsoever in being anywhere near home. And so it turned out that she ended up going to the University of North Texas.
Mhm.
And her sister, she does have a sister that goes to Texas Women's University. And so they're both in Denton, Texas. It turns out,
Okay.
listen, God can make some stuff happen. It only had to be God that they ended up being together. But she was clear, she was very clear about, I don't want to be nowhere near where, and I was like, okay, that's cool, because we about to go to Florida. You can be as far away, you can go wherever you want to. But I like that. But I like that about the attitude that you had. You were like, you know what? Hey, I want to do this. I want to go. I'm not even going to apply to Mizzou. And when I get to Georgia, I'm gonna make sure that I'm in good shape and I'm gonna be able to take care of myself. And that's the attitude that you had. So no, I think that's awesome. So tell me this: when you were, one of the things that you said, I I wanted to be able to prove to myself that I
Mhm.
could make it. And so when you're thinking about proving to yourself, because sometimes people get into, I want to be able to prove to other people. But what was it about wanting to prove to yourself that you could make it? Kind of lean in a little, kind of help us understand what that was for you. Why did you feel like you wanted to prove to you? What was that all about?
Well, I mean, for me, self-validation means
Mm-hmm.
more than anything.
Yeah.
There's no secret to anyone who knows me that I'm a daddy's girl, one,
Yeah.
and that my oldest sister has always been my shero. So
Yeah.
those two people, what they think and what they mean, what they think has always meant the world to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like no secret at all. But outside of that, like it's always been about, can I do this for me? Because I have to look at myself in the mirror and I
Yeah.
have to say, did you do what you needed to do for you? And so it's
Yeah.
like, I've never wanted to disappoint them, and I've never wanted to disappoint myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, like, I had some things that I wanted to achieve. And, you know, I think we all have a story. We all have these dreams and
Mm-hmm.
aspirations of how we wanted things to go, or want things to go how we think they could go. And then because of choices we make, the line doesn't always look the way we thought it was going to look. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
the choices we make. Sometimes it's because God has other ways. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, no matter how it goes, it's, can you look yourself in the mirror the next
Yeah.
day or later that day and still say, I still like that person?
Yeah.
And so that's basically what it is for me. Can I continue to look at myself and say, hey, I still like that person. I still like
Yeah.
who that person is, and I still want to give that person a fighting chance. Because
Yeah.
every day that you get up is another day, another 24 hours
Mm-hmm.
to try again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's my whole thing about wanting to prove for myself. I definitely had struggles in the years that I've been in Georgia. It's definitely not been easy. After the 4 years, they expected that I was going to move back home. And when I was like, oh no, yeah, I'm out of school, but I'm not coming back home, they couldn't believe it. My sister had a stranger call me, a business person that she knew, just called out the blue one day, was like, so why are you not going home? And I was like, huh? And then after our conversation, after we talked, she called my sister and was like, leave that girl alone. She has a plan. She is executing it. Let her bump her head, but she's working it out. And
Yeah.
so I went on and I went to grad school, and things were, things were tough, but I kept telling them, when I make it, it'll mean more to me than if
Yeah.
you all give it to me or if you all
Mhm.
help me every step of the way. And
Yeah.
so it's definitely not been easy, and it definitely, the path wasn't laid out the way I dreamt it and wrote it up when I was
Yeah.
in eighth grade, sitting in science and English, writing letters back and forth to my girlfriend Tiff. However, it's my story, and I've been the author of it every step of the way.
Yeah. You know what? The path never is exactly linear. I mean, it's never exact the way that we all write it out. But like you said, it is our story, and we get to craft it, and we get to walk it out. And at the end of the day, it's our lived experience that we get to tell the story. And we're happy with it, and like we do get to look at the person in the mirror, and we're happy with who we see there, and that's a great thing. You know what, one of the things that I always want people when they're tuning into the podcast is being able to take away good, sound, practical advice and things that they can, that they can use, those tools that they can use. And one of the things that you said that you like to share with people is change for you and not anybody else. Kind of share what you mean by that.
When so many times people try to do what other people want them to do. My father wanting me to go to MU. That's not where I wanted to be. Or when I was in college, I saw so many people who were in majors that their parents thought was the best fit for them, not majors that they really had an interest or a love for. And when you do things that other people want you to do, you live in a state of unhappiness. And people may try to usher you towards things that really are the best choice for you. But if you're not ready for it and you go towards that thing before you're ready for it, then you end up messing things up. But when you change or readjust yourself because you know that you're ready for that change, you're ready for that difference, you'll feel it, and everything in you will align with that. And so my thing is just about doing things that feel right for you, not for those people around you. Doing things that make you happy, not because the next person said that it felt right for them.
Right.
Being your true and authentic self, and not trying to please everybody else in the room, because you'll never make 100% of the people happy 100% of the time. And that's in your own family, in your own house. I live with my husband and two boys. Nobody, no, all four are never happy about the dinner selection. All four are never happy that we're going this kid play this sport, all for, like, you're never gonna make. We went to the movie, everybody didn't like this movie that we saw. It's not gonna happen, and you will drive yourself crazy trying to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. But sometimes you have to focus on you. Sometimes it's okay to be selfish and you have
Yeah.
to realize when that time is.
Yeah. No, I think no, that's all good. That is all good stuff. All good stuff. All good stuff. All right, so I'm going to throw some words out at you. This is what I call rapid fire. So I'm going to throw some words out at you, and you just the first thing you think of, I just want you to respond. All right? Sound good? All right, sound good?
Okay.
All right. So, experience.
Lessons.
All right. Good. Okay. Fear.
Change.
All right. Um, money.
Whew. Lots.
Power.
Oh, respect.
God.
All knowing.
Yes, yes, yes. Faith.
First.
Yes, 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 yes. Command.
You said what?
Command.
Uh,
Command.
promise.
Okay. And reimagine.
Mm, every day.
Every day. Girl, listen. That's what I say. Every day. Reimagine every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Rhea, I want to thank. I feel like we just don't have it. We never have enough time to get everything in. What else would you like to say or share? I don't want to even close down before we get, if there's, I don't want to leave anything off the table that needs to be presented or shared before we wind up. Before we wind
Um,
up this episode.
I would just like to leave your listeners with always believe in you. No matter what you're going through, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what is going on around you, always believe in you.
Oh, Maria, that's good. That is such good stuff. That's such good stuff. And so true. I want to thank you, and you guys, thank you for tuning in today. This has been the Reimagine You Lab podcast with your host Michelle Gines, who is the reimagined scientist called to create, collaborate, and cultivate you. And so I want to thank you for tuning into this episode with the Areia Cobb, who is the author, speaker, educator extraordinaire right there in the wonderful Dallas, Georgia, who has stopped into the lab today, who came and just, dropped dimes on us, which I always appreciate. And she will be back, be listening in and expecting to hear from this girl again, because she's got way so much inside of her that I just like to pull on her every chance I get. But make sure that you tune in, subscribe. Please share this episode and others with those that you know that that want to and need to reimagine their lives. And we will look forward to seeing you guys here again. So thank you for joining in. Areia, thank you for being with us, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
All right, be blessed.
Bye-bye. You too.